Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Butterfly's Poison. Just starting the porny stuff. Well, I mean, obviously, there's nothing. Well, all of the inappropriate moaning sounds and CGs are out of the game, but, we're getting into the thick of things, and we're gonna get Sheba's thick thing. Okay, you know what? Wait, we're starting this off on a good note. But I cock-blocked us all last time, and now we're going to continue where we left off. So with this CG, we're like, he just looks like crazed. What have we done? What's he gonna do? Anyway, we read this line the last time, but we'll start here again. So, the sensation is new. Nothing Spacey's ever experienced before, and it makes her want to run away. But Sheba won't let her. As soon as Sheba notices that she's trying to flee again, he watches her closely, his gaze telling her that he won't let her escape under his watch. With my luck, it'll be like the 2 more lines and then the scene will end. Oh, my lady. Tears escape from the corners of Spacey's eyes. She didn't mean to cry. Tears just rolled out of her eyes on their own. I mean, we could have technically stopped here where it's not really a scene transition, but whatever. No place was ever going to be good. Sheba grows rigid, a startled look on his face, and he draws a long sigh. Oh, so he's not gonna do horrible things to us. My lady. Sheba hugs her. Sheba hugs her tightly, Spacey. Alright, listen. Listen, Tim and Ronald, what the shit? We're in the intense moment and you do this? Anyway, Sheba hugs her tightly, the gesture seeming to require all of his might in order to suppress his urges. Ugh, what have I done? He murmurs lowly, his feverish gaze appears sorrowful as he fixes it on Spacey. There he goes again. He's the cruel one here, but now he seems to be the one in pain. What does he expect her to do? Then again, something must be wrong with her too. He did something forceful to her, but there's still a part of her that can't seem to truly hate him, right? Because you're like, no, I don't want to. I want this. I do, but not like this, maybe. I don't know. What should I do? Someone knocks on the door then, the sound drawing them back to reality from the floaty and phantasmal atmosphere. Inappropriate to knock on the door and we could be getting it on. President, do you have a moment? Stay there and tell me what you want. Sheba sounds like a different person. His voice is now commanding, lacking the heat from moments earlier. Someone from the lady's household is coming to pick her up. They gave us a call just now. Are they now? Got it. Thank you. I'll notify you again once they arrive. Please excuse me. Yamazaki's like, you might want to wrap it up. She can hear retreating footsteps from beyond the door after the businesslike announcement. Sheba sighs and pushes up his disheveled hair. And then he looms over Spacey again and kisses her. She no longer has the energy to fight him. Sadly, someone from your household's coming to pick you up. I actually don't want to part with you for the entire night, but guess not tonight. He murmurs, nearly groaning, and kisses Spacey on the lips again. Has he made me into his possession? Not yet. She doesn't have an answer to that. Okay. Not saying that what he was doing was appropriate or right or how you get someone to love you. But, also, in the scheme of this game, I'm into it! No, in reality, you should never get so desperate for someone that you're gonna I'm gonna force myself on you and then you'll realize how much I love you. That is one way to chase them away. In the fantasy aspect of this, it's I'm gonna force myself on you so you realize how much I love you, and then you realize, oh my god, you just did it for me. Okay, we're cool. And then you realize you're into it. Which is fucked up if you think about it, but that's kind of where that was trying to go. Look. You were like, you're a brute and you're awful, and he's like, I'll show you awful. I mean, all she knows is that the vivid sensation and Sheba's zeal are still wrapped around her tightly. The worst part is again, because in this context, she's kind of into it. No, hey, why do I like this? What's happening? I don't think she was really fully aware that she was into it, but she was into it, and that's kind of terrifying. Shiva doesn't release Spacey until someone comes knocking at the door again. He never apologizes or asks for her to forgive him. He just keeps kissing her, playing with her hair, and gazing into her eyes. The night ends like a fever dream. It ends like the madness of sleepwalking. And a thought suddenly occurs to Spacey. That perhaps she's just experienced the night's final ghost story. See, we could have finished the whole thing. We totally could have finished that. I didn't think he was gonna stop. I didn't think he was gonna get cock-blocked. So I'm sorry that I cock-blocked all of us for 5 minutes. We could have gone 5 minutes over. So I apologize. But if you've been around for a while, it's been a long time since we've had a situation like this. So, like, memories, guys. Where we've been like, I'm gonna cockblock everybody! Woo! You know? Been a long time since we've done that. So, I'm just bringing the old shit back. A few days later, a relative comes to visit the Nomiya household. It's the first visit by one of her relatives since her mother's funeral. The visiting relative is her grandmother from her mother's side, Hokuko Ishikawa. Hokuko, yeah. Her grandmother may be elderly, but she still appears dignified. The dauntless air about her convinces those around her that she must have been a beauty when she was young. She reminds Spacey of her late mother. I just feel so awful for the two of you. Tokuko looks heartbroken as she shifts her gaze from Mizuhito to Spacey. She continues to lament about the household's tragic predicament. Just why did this household have to suffer such a severe downfall? You both lost your parents, and this household is too much dead. Grandmother, please do not worry about us. Mizuhito couldn't care less about the things that make his grandmother, who shares no blood ties with him whatsoever, worry. If push comes to shove, we'll just sell the manor and the land. We'll manage. Oh my god, we're gonna go live in a tiny little painter's studio with our brother and, just roll around and let him paint us like one of his French girls. We're gonna, body paint each other. I go to friends, no one there cares. Probably. I don't know. There you go again. How could you? If you're that worried about us, why don't you give us some financial aid instead? We need it more than your sympathy. But, brother! Her brother's aloof and nonchalant remark makes Spacey flounder and panic. Their parents' funerals were possibly only because their relatives decided to contribute financially. So it's too arrogant of her brother to act haughty and indifferent. I mean, here's the thing. If someone comes up in your house and is like, oh, God, it's a shame you don't have any money, and you're like, yeah, I'll probably have to sell my house and the land and do all that, and they're like, you can't do that! Well, what are my options? Are you giving me money? Don't tell me I can't sell my shit. You know what I mean? He's not wrong. Is it rude to say that? Yes, but still. He's not wrong. You can't tell me I'm not allowed to sell my shit to pay my bills if you're being like, I'm offering to help you. Don't sell the house, just take the money to pay the debts. Then that's one thing for Grammy to get pissed about. But Grammy can't get pissed you're gonna sell the house if she ain't gonna fork up the dough to help you keep the house. What are your options? Mizuhito is already not, you're doing it the wrong way. You're supposed to sell yourself at the maybe that's what he's doing in the red light district. Maybe he's not visiting prostitutes. Maybe he is one. Although you're not doing very good because you're supposed to be bringing in money and you're not making a lot. So you're going to need to do better. You know? I'm just saying. Anyway. But their grandmother doesn't appear insulted or angry. Instead, she casts her eyes down and looks apologetic. I would if I could, but I've already fulfilled this household's demands so many times before. The two of you should know that already. Indeed. I know our father asked various people for money. I don't want to expose my own family's shame, but we aren't wealthy ourselves, and not wealthy enough to help you anymore. So I thought I should at least come here with good news. Good news? Mizuhito scoffs. You're going to talk about marriage, aren't you?
Correct. I don't know. I wouldn't call that good news. You can't seriously plan to play around forever. You need yourself a wife of the same social status, and you need to protect this household.
Look, I'm not opposed to me getting married for money, but I don't want to sell my brother because, like, he belongs to me, Granny. Now I understand what he feels like. Oh. But this is Spacey's man harem. Kyoko is also in the manor, but anyway. This is Spacey's harem. So, like, all are belonging to me. And, like, if they have cuddle parties, make out, whatever with it, that's okay in my man harem. But, like, he ain't bringing another bitch all up in my man harem, Grandma. What the shit? Nah. Biddy, take your shit and get out. No, I'm not here for this. Kyoko is the only acceptable one. We haven't gotten to her route yet. We'll see. But I'm just saying right now, she might be the only acceptable lady that's allowed to prowl around my man harem, okay? Like, I don't, Spacey doesn't share men with each other, okay, but not with other women. Alright? There's a line. Kyoko can fawn over them and we'll maybe fawn, but like, I don't know about sharing my men with you, Kyoko. Like, I don't know about that. You're just way more impressive than I am, so like, I don't need her leading them astray and taking my men out the back door, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of a sudden you're like, why is the man harem so empty? Because Kyoko's got her own harem and she took half my stock. I'm not into that. You come here for this shit, right? Oh my god. Anyway. You need a wife and you need to protect this household. Nah! Kicks Grim out.
We may be aristocratic, but no sane woman would want to marry into this penniless family. That simply isn't true. An aristocratic family will always be an aristocratic family, regardless of how poor they are. And there are so many people who dream of obtaining peerage ranks, so I'm sure there are plenty of ladies who are interested in marrying you. But I'm not interested in marriage. And besides, the idea of having my future wife's family support this household doesn't sit well with me. Oh dear, why do you have to be such a coward? But well, if you're so against it, I guess I'll address the topic with you, Spacey.
Huh? Me?
Yes, you. Unless you already have a potential marriage partner.
Mizuhito and Spacey exchange glances. So their grandmother is yet to learn about Shiba. Their mother, Shigeko, is fairly supportive about her potential marriage to Shiba, but apparently she never consulted her family about it. Could you imagine? Okay, it's one thing that a guy's gonna come and propose to me and we're like, I don't know, and our mother's like, I support it, but she's not forcing us. But then she's like, wait, let me check with your grandma. Grandma doesn't like it, so you can't. Excuse me? The fuck?
Anyway, can you explain to us more about it?
But her brother pushes the conversation forward without mentioning Shiba. Spacey herself is shaken. She hesitates for a moment, wondering if she should bring up the subject herself, but in the end, she doesn't say anything.
His name is Katsui.
Oh, Ida. Yeah, because that would be a capital I. It looks like an L, but it's not.
His name is Katsue.
Sue? There's two. I can't with all. Anyway.
The Ida are a wealthy family of farmers in
Katsushika? Katsushika.
Katsue is the second son of the family. He went to study abroad in London.
But it's the EA, it's the Katsue. I can't pronounce it. That's a hard one.
He returned to Japan last year and now works for the Ministry of Agriculture and Commerce. He has a brilliant mind and a promising future.
He does sound like an excellent man, but I'm sure he already has many women lining up for him. Not if he looks like a busted-up foot.
His family and ours share a little bit of history. Katsue's younger sister entered the family of the Count my sister is married into, and has an apprentice to learn things about good manners.
Married into as an apprentice to learn about good manners. Sorry, that was a weird sentence.
The family's young master fell in love at first sight with her, and they got married. As she asked our family to introduce her brother, who is now back in Japan, to someone nice.
And you chose me?
Yes, I told them a bit about this household situation, and they're very sympathetic about it. Katsue himself said he'd love to meet you in person. Wow, there's so much progress already.
Mizuhito throws out a snide remark, shrugging his shoulders.
And their family sure comes across as eager to me. Well, yes, to those wealthy people who don't have any peerage ranks, we're like superstars. He's an ideal man to be your marriage partner. People say good things about him, too.
I see. Spacey replies without really meaning it. She doesn't know how else she should respond. The marriage talk is so sudden, and she needs time to process it. Glancing at his sister and sensing her confusion, Mizuhito sits up straight and answers on Spacey's behalf.
Well, we'll think about it. Thank you for letting us know, Grandmother. Yes, please do give it some thought, but I'd prefer to hear your response sooner than later.
There's no reason why we can't meet him. Kid, you think we could meet? Because, maybe I'd be like, my god, this man is gorgeous, I'm into it. Or you could be like, oh god, he looks like Saburo! But word! You know what I mean? Be totally creeped out.
Of course. It's just, my mother passed away not so long ago, so I don't think we're ready to move on so quickly. Of course, I understand.
The grandmother nods several times and slowly glances around the room, considering the fact that it's your mom's mom, isn't it? You're like, our mom just died. And she's like, yeah, anyway. Grandma, cold. She's like, I've got 6 kids.
I don't want to see the manor that my daughter used to live in fall into someone else's hands. And the same goes for the beautiful garden.
As their grandmother recalls the memory of her daughter, who passed away from illness shortly after her husband's death, as if she was eager to chase after him, her eyes grow teary. It's then that Spacey remembers that her mother's brother is no longer around. She can only imagine the pain her grandmother must be going through after being left behind by both her daughter and son. Okay, so she had 2 kids and she's a little she's trying to rush marriage. Something painful fills Spacey's chest.
So please, consider agreeing to the marriage talk I just told you about. It's for the sake of this manor, too.
Yes, grandmother. Again, it's a marriage talk, so it's like you could meet him and be like, and then you you gotta prepare yourself, but you meet him and then you're like, and then you're like, yeah, awesome! He seems great! Or you meet him and you're like, he's not Sheba. Oh. Then you realize you're in love with Sheba, which is what would happen, They exchange lighthearted banter after that. After a while, their grandmother rises from her seat. Spacey's walking her grandmother to the door when she suddenly remembers something. Walking her grandmother to the door, kind of mumbled out.
Thank you. I enjoyed spending time with you.
Grandmother?
Yes, what is it?
I'm sorry, I know this question will sound strange, but was Mother ever involved in anything related to Chinese bellflowers?
Bellflowers?
Yes. Her grandmother cocks her head, and Spacey feels the first wave of disappointment washing over her. Maybe her grandmother doesn't know anything. Maybe her mother and bellflowers share no connection whatsoever. It really isn't a big deal, but Mother didn't seem too fond of Chinese bellflowers, so...
Chinese bellflowers. Also referred to as ki.
Her grandmother trails, and her face loses its color. What?
I don't know. You do indeed ask peculiar questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, Grandmother.
Anyway, I'll be looking forward to your reply. Understood, Spacey?
Yes, I understand.
Good. Farewell.
Her grandmother walks briskly as if running from the manor and from her. That's definitely strange. Her grandmother must know something. Yeah, that was sus. But judging from the look on her face, I doubt Grandmother would be willing to tell me about it even if I asked her again. Whatever it is, she has a feeling it isn't a happy subject to talk about, and that she can't press her grandmother to discuss it.
Did she leave already?
Yes. Mizuhito walked softly from inside the manor. He made up a reason to excuse himself halfway through the conversation with the grandmother, probably simply because he didn't feel like talking anymore, and cooped himself up who knows where.
Sheesh. First funerals, now we have to think about weddings. I wish these annoying days would end soon.
They will when we get to your route. I am so just on edge waiting for Mizuhito's route because he's just so pertinent in here and like so desperately doesn't want us to marry anyone and like now I want to know how we're gonna like run away with our brother.
By the way, what are you going to do about Sheba?
The name her brother has just uttered sends a jolt through her. The memory of what happened on the night of 100 ghost stories stirs awake in her mind, vividly, and Spacey's cheeks redden.
Well, I trust you to handle it. But basically, I don't see him as an ideal marriage partner for you.
Mizuhito chooses his words carefully, probably misunderstanding the reason behind Spacey's red cheeks. You're wrong, brother. Who would fall in love with a man like him? Or so she wants to scream. But she doubts she can bear the embarrassment that she's sure to feel when she utters the man's name out loud. She chooses to stay silent. Since that night, a day hasn't gone by that Spacey hasn't thought about Sheba. His ragged and hot breathing, his low voice, the choking scent of his cologne. These things appear in Spacey's dreams with realistic details torturing her every night. She huffs out a troubled sigh. I can't tell anyone about it. I'm an unmarried woman, but he did those things to me. It's so embarrassing, I just want to disappear. In the end, she couldn't even get a clear explanation from Sheba about his relationship with Lady Kyoko, all because of the incident in the room. Oh, did you deceive her again? She wonders if he did, and the onslaught of disgrace is dizzying. At that moment, she hears the sound of a car stopping outside the manor. Sheba? Spacey whips her head up and locks eyes with Mizuhito. Is it Sheba? Mizuhito and I are on the same page. I have no idea.
He always visits at random times, so I won't be surprised if it's him outside.
The two of them walk toward the door and strain their ears. But the approaching footsteps sound like they belong to a woman. Oh. Spacey holds her breath. Well, it was funny. Okay, so before when she's like, I don't even know about his relationship with Kyoko, I'm like, maybe you should ask Kyoko. You know what I mean? Like, and here she is. Spacey holds her breath. She has a bad feeling about this, and it's confirmed when a cheery voice greets them from behind the door. Excuse me!
Oh, Lady Kyoko. Now that's a surprise, isn't it, Spacey?
Knew it. Her bad feeling has been confirmed. Vegeta walks briskly toward the door and opens it. Da-na-na-na! She walked in, the door is amazing. Standing there is indeed Lady Kyoko, looking as charming as ever. Spacey wishes she never had to see that bewitching face again. We are just vexed by everyone around us and how, like, into them we all are. It has been a while, my lady. Yes.
Hello there. Did you attend Sheba's gathering the other day as well?
Her clueless brother asks. Lady Kyoko watches him with amusement. She smiles and inclines her head. Yes, I did, but I didn't get a chance to speak with the lady, so here I am now.
Is that so? Very well. Please make yourself at home. Vegeta, could you walk our guest to the parlor?
Certainly, sir. Spacey stands as straight as a ramrod, watching her brother Mizuhito prompting the lady to enter the manor. She can't reject her visit here. It'd be too unnatural. And if she's required to explain why she doesn't want to entertain the lady, she'll have to come clean about what happened that night. Spacey scowls, glaring daggers at the lady. What does she want from her now? The lady stares back at Spacey and gives her a meaningful smile. Unable to see how she can make the lady leave the manor now, she gives up and drags her feet toward the parlor. So, what did you come here for? Once Fujita has poured them tea and left the parlor, Spacey opens her lips with great effort and asks. She wants to end this conversation as soon as possible. Her thoughts must be written on her face because Lady Kyoko looks at her and chuckles. Oh, please, you don't have to be so cruel toward me now, do you? I'm sure Sheba's told you that I happened to see your little tryst with him. Yes, he did, but it wasn't a tryst, not at all. Kyoko says, looking unperturbed. She doesn't even look guiltily as she breaks into an innocent smile. Doesn't even look guilty. Wow. It angers Spacey, and she finds herself glaring at the lady before she can catch herself. Again, the lady doesn't show any indication of feeling the slightest bit bothered. I'm telling the truth here. I came here to correct your misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? What exactly have I misunderstood? He's always been incapable of putting the most important things into words, so I can pretty much guess that he didn't do a very good job a very good job explaining the situation to you, and this attitude of yours confirms my assumption. Kyoko shrugs and sips at her tea with one graceful movement. Her remark suggests that she's known Shiba for a long time, and it doesn't help in making Spacey feel better. Listen, my lady, you might have heard all sorts of rumors during the gathering, but really, half of them are true, while the remaining half are lies. What are you getting at? It's true that I gave Shiba money. As a benefactor, that is. Spacey sinks her teeth into her bottom lip after hearing Kyoko's admission. So money did connect Shiba and Kyoko. That much is true. But I don't want you to misunderstand. Some people use my disposition as a reason to create rumors that I'm into building physical relationships and whatnot. But my relationship with Shiba is not like that at all. When I decide to be someone's benefactor, I won't hold back in supporting them financially. In contrast, I won't hand even a single penny to someone that I don't like. I saw huge potential in Shiba when he was younger, so I decided to invest in him. The result? A magnificent manor. I'm quite good at discovering talent, wouldn't you say? You saying you've never been lovers? The lady stares hard at Spacey. We're going to find out the lady doesn't even like being lovers with her husband. I'm going to say this clearly because I want you to understand that I wouldn't lie to you. So yes, we were, but it was a long time ago. Oh, damn! Okay, I was expecting to be like, God, no. Oh! Or bi queen over here. And I wouldn't even say we were lovers. We were just fooling around. All this time, Shiba's only wanted you and you alone. You're lying! I'm not. He's loved you and only you. He would tell me there was a woman he wanted to meet again, and the only woman he'd ever want. A woman he wanted to meet again? She doubts the sincerity of the lady's words. Didn't her first encounter with Shiba take place at the evening party held by the Nomiya household? Didn't he allude, though, at one point, about knowing her, and she's like, it must be from the family. I feel like there was something where he alluded to it, and we're like, did we meet him before? And then it just never got clear. Am I crazy? Am I just, pretending am I imagining that I remember that? I don't know. Spacey watches the lady with doubtful eyes, but she simply shrugs. I don't know the details. But he cherishes his memory with you like a precious gem that he doesn't want to show to anybody. Like a dog who hides its favorite treat. Kyoko chuckles. All I can say is, Shiba's been working hard for your sake. So please, don't misunderstand him. And that's all I came here to say. So, I mean, okay, it is a little weird that, they were fooling around, having some fun. And he's, totally into Spacey. But, it was, it's not the right time. I mean, I guess you could have a crush on someone and be dating other people because not the right time to date that person you've got a crush on. You don't have to, save yourself for them. You know what I mean? What if you had a crush on someone who was kind of dating someone else and you're like, I have a crush on them, but they're seeing someone else. So, obviously, whatever, I'm going to date other people. And then later on, you're both single and you're like, yeah, What? So you were never allowed to date anyone because you had a crush on someone else? You know what I'm saying? So, even he was fooling around. It wasn't serious, but still, it's a little oh, you were. I do like the fact that, it's not yes, I've had other lady friends, but I'm not going to tell you who. It's oh my God, there is drama because he was banging. Come on. This is like a soap opera. I love this. So much more than we usually get. Usually everyone's wholesome and wonderful. I mean, the guys might be assholes, but we're just holes. I don't know. There's so much more drama and twisting and dirt, and everybody's involved with each other, and just it's not quite as much as a fucking soap opera or a WB drama, CW drama, no, whatever. You know what I mean? But but it's still way more than you normally get in an Otome game. So I'm here for this. It's good. After asserting that statement, Kyoko stays for a while, exchanging small talk with her, and leaves the manor. All sorts of emotion fills Spacey's heart, and she doesn't know what to do next. Have I met Shiba somewhere before? But Shiba's never mentioned anything of that sort. I'm going to assume we went to a party or something one time. He saw us, fell for us, and that's it. We've never actually fully met. He was just yes. Which is kind of cute if you think about it. Weird, but cute. She thinks it's too risky to just blindly trust Lady Kyoko's account. Besides, the lady flat out said she did have a non-platonic relationship with Shiba before. Said it happened a long time ago, but then why did they kiss that day? Was that kiss truly just her way to greet Sheba, as he said? Then again, would a free-spirited woman like her be able to keep her hands off a man as good-looking and wealthy as Sheba? Spacey can't help but suspect that the two of them are still not completely over each other yet. I don't think Sheba was ever really into her. It's more like, yeah, okay, you're getting your needs met. It's not your emotional or romantic needs, it's your physical, you know what I mean, sexual needs, and then whatever. Sheba no longer require the lady's financial aid? Or must he continue repaying her favor all the way into the distant future? And the thing is, but Kyoko, like, we're again reading more into it. Kyoko's like, oh yeah, we fooled around. I gave him money as a benefactor. I wasn't expecting him to sleep with me, but we did have some fun, so like, what the hell? You know what I mean? She's not like, oh yes, I gave him money and he has to service me in order to pay it back. She kind of made it clear that that's not what that was. Them fooling around was like, on the side, was just a benefit. You know what I mean? Like, I gave him money because I believed in him. You know, the fooling around was just a whole side piece. Has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? But we're still reading into that. She'd probably find it more believable if the two of them tell her they still interact with one another like lovers. The lady said she's Sheba's benefactor, but how plausible is it for a benefactor to fund someone without seeking for anything in return? You pay them back with money, not sex, girl. Jesus. I mean, not usually. Like, not to mention that the two of them are good-looking people. They're indecent, building a relationship based on money. How obscene. We need to get over that money is obscene. Like, girl, simmer down. Now you're getting a little nuts. Spacey's negative feelings towards Sheba and Kyoko only grow stronger. It's the jealousy, so we're like, they're just obscene and gross and vile and obscene and gross. Like, okay, girl, keep trying. She also finds Kyoko's decision to come all the way here to explain the situation on behalf of Sheba detestable, because it shows just how much Kyoko favors Sheba. The two of them are most certainly not friends. The fingers that touched Spacey's body that night have touched Kyoko's in the same way. Her brain conjures up a vivid image of it, and her breathing grows harsh with anger. I mean, that I can't blame you for, because you're like, oh, God, now I'm imagining what he did to me to you. And you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, in reality, you date people and you know they've dated other people, and the things they do to you, they've done to other people. But, like, you don't generally know those people. It's not like here where you're like, oh, Kyoko, she seems oh, I'm imagining the man that was touching me and licking, do all the things he was doing to you. It's definitely jealousy, and I can't blame her for it, you know? It doesn't appear that what little is left of her pride can take much more of this. Not enough. I don't want to have anything to do with those people again.
Miss Maisie, is Lady Kyoko gone home?
Mizuhito enters the parlor without knocking. Spacey turns to her brother and speaks on impulse. Brother!
What's wrong?
I'll accept the marriage talk that grandmother told us about. Oh, damn. Now we're getting even deeper in the drama. Things progress extremely quickly after Spacey agreed to consider the man her grandmother told her about. Everything's going smoothly. The place and date for the formal marriage interview were both set up in the blink of an eye, and here she is. If we see him and he's adorable, I'm going to be sad. It's going to be like, oh, there's a side character that we think is cute. Okay, he can't be. Please don't be. Not wanting to have an overly elaborate marriage interview, Spacey's accompanied by her grandmother, while Katsue is here with his older brother, Michio. The Ida household lost their family head rather early, and so Michio, the first son of the family, is now the head of the household. And since the brother's mother is bedridden, Michio came to the marriage interview because no one else is available to be a witness. They in the same situation. Our mother was bedridden and then she died. Katsue is a bespectacled man who comes across as a gentle and incredibly earnest man. Are we going to see him? He's got glasses! The composed look across his features exudes the man's intelligence, but his cheeks are blushing and his gaze is a bit servile now that he's sitting in front of Spacey. He must have little experience with women. Meanwhile, something about Michio reminds her of Sheba. Contrary to his brother, who looks like he had a refined upbringing, the man looks somewhat rough around the edges, and his every move is imbued with confidence. The brothers are so different that she begins to question if they're really siblings. Well, I must admit I'm jealous of Katsue for the chance to discuss marriage with such a beautiful lady. Bird, shut up! Having decided that it's still too early for dinner, they went to exchange idle talk in the lobby. Michio's voice booms across the lobby, making their little group stand out. Hi, I love you, but please shut up! You're being a jerk! It annoys Spacey, but she makes a meek smile. She maintains a meek smile on her face.
What nonsense! Everyone knows your wife is such a beauty, Michio.
True, her face is gorgeous, but she can be strangely expressionless. She's practically a doll sometimes. Nothing comparable to your lady's lively and healthy beauty.
Oh, really? Sadly, my granddaughter's too lively for her own good. She lacks gracefulness, and her mother would often complain, wishing her daughter could be more docile.
The two companions are chattier than the marriage interviewees' main participants. I was thinking the marriage interviewees, and I just totally read that sentence weird. Actually, Spacey's grandmother told her that she shouldn't speak too much. She ought to just sit there looking elegant and docile. So here she is, smiling and offering agreeable responses when needed. Katsue, on the other hand, stays silent. Sometimes, though, he glances over at Spacey as if he wants to speak to her. Nothing about that attitude is particularly masculine. In her opinion, and her mood quickly plummets. Hey, listen! Sometimes you gotta love the twinks, alright? Let it go, girl. Isn't it better that he's taciturn and shy? So much better than that man who's always prideful and suddenly forceful toward me. Catching herself thinking about Shiba and comparing him to another man, annoyance directed at herself flares up inside Spacey's chest. She just can't seem to get that man's intense presence out of her mind. Now she's like the perfect example of a weak woman who lets a man do as he pleases with her body first and then her heart. The thoughts run in a circle inside her head. All the while, Tokuko and Michio continue chatting.
Michio, I heard you're like something of a foster parent to Katsue.
Indeed I am. There's a huge age gap between us brothers, and our father passed away early. People call us a wealthy family of farmers, but our family's fortunes have been decreasing since my father's generation. There was a time when we had to sell all our lands and manor. I used the funds to do business instead. We were blessed with good luck in that. The business went well, and we could regain our wealth. In fact, I went to Taiwan and Manchuria for work last week, so yes, my business is still going strong.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. I'm a woman, and so I know nothing about commerce, but you have a brother who has an excellent trade ability, Katsue. I envy your family.
Yes, my brother's been supporting me in every aspect. He was the one who helped me study abroad, too. To me, my brother is truly a father figure.
Which means Spacey will soon be my daughter.
Oh, please, let's not rush things, though I do share your sentiment.
I feel so bad for Katsue, because, we're just totally gonna leave him in the lurch. Poor guy. If it was Michio, you'd be like, yeah, no, not this bastard. But, Katsue, we don't even get to see him, but he seems okay. You know, he's bespectacled and shy and, a little feminine. I'm into it. Just from the description, you know. Spacey flashes a bashful smile and realizes, after having observed the conversation just now, why she thinks Michio resembles Shiba. They're both nouveau riche for having amassed substantial wealth through successful business. The smell of money is thick, trailing after them wherever they go. They're brimming with self-esteem, and the looks on their faces spell arrogance. She turns to watch Michio's greasy face and wonders if he's anything like Shiba, occasionally exposing his innocent and weak side, albeit very briefly, to another person. Shiba's usually full of himself, but he's also capable of showing his pained and sorrowful face to her and her alone. Is Michio capable of making the same face? At that moment, she can tell that someone's approaching their group with a rather uncouth manner of walking. Who do you think it is? Tokuko is the first one to turn to that person, a surprised look on her face. Noticing her grandmother's reaction, Spacey follows her line of sight, and at the end of it is a person that nearly makes her yelp.
Hey, what a coincidence for us to run into each other here.
Shiba's staring hard at Spacey, his gaze filled with an intense glint. She stares back at him, her posture rigid and her mouth locked in place, preventing her from responding to him right away. What's this man doing here? Of all places! The fucking hotel. Public place. If she were calm enough to think about it, maybe his presence here wouldn't be so strange. After all, Shiba probably often comes to places like this to have business discussions. But why does he have to be here today? And at this exact moment? Whiteness fills Spacey's head, muddling her brain.
Oh, Shiba! What a coincidence indeed! I should have known that they would have known each other. That's just fucking great. Oh, media. Oh, Ida, well. And thanks for your visit the other day. The unexpected has taken place before her eyes. Before Spacey could open her mouth, Michio, who's sitting diagonally opposite to her, begins talking in a friendly manner with Shiba. It's clear that they know each other. Are they business acquaintances? He was at the party. Your ghost story exchange party was splendid. Just as one would expect from you, Shiba. Are you here for work today? Yes, I'm actually on my way. But then I happened to see a lady I recognized. Huh? Shiba's words make Spacey shudder in horror. She fears he's going to disclose the things that have happened between them right here.
Oh, Spacey, is he an acquaintance of yours?
Well... Mind telling me what all you were doing here? I saw you from afar and you looked like you were enjoying yourselves. Shiba cuts Spacey's trembling voice off, rudely too, and asks. Michio nods with a bright smile on his face, seemingly unaware of the extremely menacing aura oozing from Shiba! I love this. Yes, actually, we're having a marriage interview for my younger brother Katsue with this beautiful lady. Oh, a marriage interview. Shiba narrows his eyes ever so slightly. Spacey clenches her fists on her lap. But that's weird. Huh? What do you mean? Well, I'm not sure how to put this, but this lady and I were lovers. Woohoo! You did not! That is not how you get on my good side! Snap, he's evil! What? Everyone falls silent upon hearing Shiba's remark. Spacey can't believe her ears. She never imagined the man would boldly make such a statement. I mean, she kind of did though, didn't she? She begins trembling as blood rushes to her head. The next thing she registers is she's already standing in front of Shiba. You liar! Do you have any idea what you've just said? I'm not lying. We've kissed so many times, remember? And not just that. Stop it! Her arms shoot up to cover her ears and she scrunches her eyes shut. Would you stop messing with me? For mercy's sake, just be somewhere else!
Hey, Spacey!
Spacey's loud voice rings across the lobby, drawing people's attention toward them. Flustered, Tokuko pulls at Spacey's sleeve. Michio pushes Katsue, who's gaping at the spectacle, aside and half rises from his seat. He looks at Shiba with confused eyes. Shiba, what's going on here? Are you serious? The two of you are lovers? Shiba spares Michio a glance before fixing his eyes back on Spacey. You having a marriage talk with someone? I'm gonna fuck that shit up. They'll have no choice but to marry me. Not a good way to start a relationship, but damn. Face paling, she casts her eyes downward. Her entire body suddenly feels too stiff to move. It wasn't my choice. You forced your kisses on me. What will happen if Shiba presses on and reveals that incident to everyone here? If it's revealed that a man's played with her body, with her being an unmarried woman, this matchmaking interview will end in failure, for starters. And the negative rumors about her will circulate and no man will want to marry her. It's so funny, played with her body. They make it... I'm kind of like, what actually happened that they cut out? Because, like, oh yeah, he was kissing her, but, like, it makes it sound like he did other things. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have sex with her, so there was no sex involved. But, like, did we... You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, what exactly details got cut out of that? Like... Because it makes it sound like it went a little bit further than just like, oh, he pinned her down and he's kissing her and maybe like whatever. Touching, not like touching, but like this makes it sound like there was some sexual touching going on that we just... But even if he's like, oh, he fooled around a little, just some over-the-clothes stuff, it still doesn't look good, so. Yes, that scenario has to be what Shiba's aiming at here. The realization strikes Spacey and she knows she has no means to escape. She isn't exactly bothered by how this marriage interview will end, but she's in extreme danger of great injury to her pride in this public space. Right now, Spacey's fate lies in this man's hands. That was just a joke. She quickly lifts her head, and she's met with Shiba's sour look. With a sullen expression on his features, he lifts his head to scratch at his nape. Spacey doubts herself. Did she hear Shiba's statement correctly? Because it's hard to believe. What do you mean it was just a joke? Actually, I had proposed to her and we were courting. But then she gave me the cold shoulder, and now she's here for a marriage interview with another man, so the words were out before I could stop them. Kinda sad, because you know he was probably intending to, like, I'm gonna ruin this, and then it was like, fuck, she really hates me, I can't ruin it, I guess. And he just like, oh! God damn! Why do you do things like, we're lovers, I'm gonna tell everyone about the times we fucked, and then like, and you're like, you're kind of being shady here, dude. Still liked him, don't get me wrong. And then he does this, and you're like, oh, it hurts my heart. Like, I feel bad, like, he just feels so, he's like, just totally in love with you, and you broke my heart. Oh, stop it! The emotional roller coaster in this game.
Oh my! You proposed to her? Is he telling the truth, Spacey?
Her grandmother asks, and Spacey shifts her gaze from Shiba to Katsue. Katsue seems like he needs more time to process all of this information. I mean, this poor guy. Shiba, meanwhile, is looking the other way, avoiding Spacey's gaze. She finally gets a better read of the situation, and she begins to calm down. Deciding to play along with Shiba, she gives her grandmother a small nod. Yes, grandmother. Mother knew about it, too. This man was an acquaintance of my mother.
Oh, good grief! She could have at least said something to me.
Well, it was a one-sided proposal, and I pursued it fairly hard, so I'm sure Lady Shigeko find it hard to talk about with other people.
Shiba interjects, offering her grandmother a curt response.
But I probably shouldn't have made such a joke about an aristocratic lady. I think I've seriously angered her.
Shiba shrugs and shifts his gaze to Spacey before glancing at Katsue.
Well, I'm sorry for crashing in and raining on your parade. You there, marrying this girl might be rough on you. You'll be henpecked until you dance to her tune.
Shiba!
Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse me.
Shiba leaves their group while laughing. Once he's out of sight, an uncomfortable silence stretches between them. I feel bad because poor Katsue is probably like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this. Everyone's speechless in the wake of the storm that was Shiba, who left after having turned everything upside down. Breaking the silence, Katsue raises his voice and chews on his words. So, that man just now, what is he to you exactly, Spacey? I'm afraid I don't have an answer to that. What? He always, mind you, behaves like that. I still don't know how he truly feels about me. Spacey speaks her mind. Shiba's always impulsive, barges in, creates tension, and leaves it unresolved, much like he just did. At the end of the day, she can hardly discern what his real intentions are. His speech and conduct are intense as a whirlwind that sweeps all before it, and reduces those around him to a baffling mess. I really kind of hope Michio or Katsue is like, yeah, I think he's really in love with you, because otherwise he wouldn't have barged in and said shit like that. You know what I mean? I really feel like someone should say that to us. I see. Spacey isn't sure how Katsue has interpreted her answer, but he does look quite relieved. Indeed, he does seem to be the enigmatic type who baffles others. Brother, do you know him well?
Huh? Oh, yeah, he's an incredibly talented man. Everyone who does business knows him, but I had no idea he was an acquaintance of your family.
And neither did I. Maybe he's another point that connects our families.
Spacey manages to hide her astonishment. She has to give it to her grandmother Tokuko for softening Shiba's intrusion as another thing that connects the two families. Katsue becomes more talkative in the conversation that follows, perhaps as an aftermath of the shock that came with Shiba. He's called a prodigy for a very good reason. His words are indeed filled with wit, and the more he speaks, the more his mediocre looks glow with energy. See the thing? Now she's like, I mean, he's average, he's basic, but like now she's falling for him, where like, oh, Shiba, you did the wrong thing. But Shiba still occupies a large chunk of Spacey's mind. He might have played his statement off as a joke and left the place without looking bothered, but there was anger radiating off his retreating back. I'm the one who should be angry here. I'm sure he did plan on exposing everything before he changed his mind halfway through. Yeah, we did. Shiba had a quick temper. When he's angry, he won't hesitate to commit the unthinkable. Everything should be fine if he calms down before the peak of his wrath. But what happens if he reaches the peak? She shudders just by imagining it. The dinner goes by without a hitch, and before long it's time for them to bid each other farewell.
They maintain an amicable atmosphere the entire time, as if Sheba didn't come to intrude in the beginning at all. Everyone's obviously still bothered, but they don't let any of it show on their faces. Having decided to go home, they walk toward the hotel's exit. Then that Michio steps forward and smiles at Spacey. I actually drove here today, so please allow me to drive you home.
Really? You can drive? I suppose that explains it. I was wondering why you wouldn't drink today.
My brother loves driving. He almost always drives unless the occasion requires him to drink. Nowadays, hiring a driver for one's car is another way for one to emphasize their success. Besides, driving comes with a risk. Accidents are sometimes unavoidable because, in addition to other cars, the roads are shared with horse-drawn carriages, bicycles, and pedestrians. In fact, due to the increasing number of accidents, the police have been patrolling around with their red bicycles starting this year. Although the Taisho era's wave of prosperity has only just begun to bestow many people with cars, it wouldn't be strange at all for a household of the Idia family's caliber. I keep saying Idia family instead of Ida family. I don't know why. Anyway, Ida family's caliber to be employing a chauffeur or two. You're driving your own car? That's amazing. Not at all. Driving's just a hobby of mine. So, what do you say, ladies?
I have a car waiting for me, so I'll go home directly. Miss Spacey, you should take him up on the offer.
I don't trust this. Grandma, you shouldn't leave me alone with two men. Spacey's grandmother encourages her, but she hesitates. Is it really alright for her to let people she just met drive her home? Not to mention that driving on one's own is dangerous. It's not the driving, it's the two strange men. And she still hasn't completely forgotten about Sheba's interference today. Something's gonna happen, right, when then Sheba's gonna come to our rescue. Because, like, here's the thing. Michio might be a douche, but, like, Katsue seems, like, okay. But, like, I'm concerned. Anyway, and she still hasn't completely forgotten about Sheba's interference today. Spacey's been hiding the awkwardness inside all this time. If she's being honest with herself, she's feeling relieved because the dinner is over and she's finally free. What should I do? Don't go. Refuse. I think we should refuse. I think accepting the ride home is a bad ending. I don't think so. Hold on. Okay, yeah, because this is where we do a save file. This is our other save file. So I'm just saying, I think we should refuse. I am all for refusing. Oh no! We accept the ride home! That would not have been my guess. I would have assumed refusing the ride home was the right choice. Because I would have thought, accept the ride and we're gonna go get, like, kidnapped or assaulted or something. But now we accept the ride home. And maybe then, like, something, and Sheba finds us and rescues us, and that's, like, the good thing. If we refuse, Sheba wouldn't have a chance to rescue us. And then we'd marry Katsue. I don't think Katsue is bad, but I don't know if I trust, like, this. Okay, alright. If you don't mind, then yes, I'd love to accept the ride home. Oh, that's wonderful. Let's get moving then. Spacey gets into the back of the car with Katsue, and Michio eagerly jumps into the driver's seat. Michio turns out to be a careful driver, and Spacey's been worried over nothing. I'm glad we met today. Thank you for gracing me with the honor of dining with you, a lady of the aristocracy. See, that's where it says aristocracy, and I was going to say, see? I can never! Oh, please. I'm nothing so grand. The pleasure is mine. I'm happy I was able to converse with a splendid man such as yourself, Katsue. Oh, no. I'm nothing compared to my brother. Hey now, don't go all humble in front of the lady you're trying to impress. Michio laughs good-naturedly behind the steering wheel. But Spacey wonders how genuine his good mood is. Michio and Sheba are acquaintances, and Michio was there at the gathering and exchanging of ghost stories. She doesn't know all the details of Michio's business, but she's fairly sure he runs his own business, and he doesn't work at Sheba's company. That means the two of them could be business rivals. In that case, Michio must have been less than thrilled when he discovered that his rival and his brother's potential marriage partner share a suspicious relationship. Matsue seems to be forcing himself to come up with various subjects to talk about, perhaps out of consideration for her. Spacey laughs at his every joke, but she feels sorry for this young man. Feels like she's made him go through a disgraceful experience, especially since the formal marriage interview started with Spacey's obstinacy. Her jealousy towards Sheba and Kyoko caused her to dive into the marriage interview without much thought. She wasn't even interested in Katsue from the beginning. She knows it's a bit late to be feeling guilty, but she is. She scorns herself for what she's done. Honestly, like, I kind of like this. She's like, yes, I'll go to the interview. And she's like, I didn't even want to be here. And this poor guy, he seems genuinely nice, but I'm not into it. And like, fuck. He's probably like, oh, this kind of went well, aside from that dude coming in. But like, I come into this and we're like, yeah, I'm not. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's like kind of like anything. Like, you go out on a blind date or you go on a date and you're like, I'm not feeling it. And they're totally into you and you're like, oh, I feel guilty because I'm not into it. It's a fact of life. It happens, but I do like that they put it in there, you know? Before long, the car comes to a halt in front of the Nomiya family's manor. Michio turns off the engine after stopping the car in front of the gate, and then she notices that he's gazing forward warily. She follows his line of sight and finds Majima closing the gate of the manor. Oh, that's our gardener. Unintentionally, Spacey speaks up to explain. Michio turns to her with a startled look on his face and smiles sheepishly. Why is that sus as fuck? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought there was a suspicious man loitering around your manor. Thank you for your concern. He saw Majima and he recognizes him. I'm telling you, Majima's sus as fuck! I'm into it. We're gonna go down Majima's route and he's just gonna be this wholesome, wonderful little gardener man, but I'm really hoping there's something shady going on. I don't know. Hatsue swiftly moves to get off the car, opens the door for Spacey, and reverently takes her hand. Get off the car. That would be the literal translation, but... She thanks them for the ride and tells them that she had fun tonight. She watches as Katsue walks toward the car and gets in. Katsue keeps staring at Spacey through the window, seemingly reluctant to part until the car drives away. Gaze doesn't make her feel uncomfortable, but it also doesn't make her heart throb faster. The only emotion she's feeling for Katsue is guilt for having done something terrible to him. Her own lack of emotions shock her. Katsue is far from handsome, but he's a wonderful man, and there's no doubt about it.
My lady, welcome home.
Majima walks toward Spacey as soon as she steps into the manor's vicinity.
Majima, did you go out today? I want to do some errands.
Is that right? Anyway, I don't know why, but I'm so exhausted today.
Oh, yes, I heard. You had a formal marriage interview, didn't you?
Yes, marriage is such a pain in the neck. Why do I even have to get married?
Well, that sounds like something you'd say, my lady.
Majima's laughter works like magic, marginally loosening the tension she's been feeling. Being with Majima makes her feel safe. It's always been like that since the first day they met. The air around him has a soothing effect on those in his vicinity. See, but it's like, they do this and you're like, well, I can't believe that he's actually kind of devious and like murdered our parents when you say shit like this, but that would make it better, you know what I mean? You'd be like, oh, game, you bamboozled me from the beginning. Just saying. Being with Katsue isn't exactly comfortable, and even if they can converse with each other easily, she always feels nervous. And then there's Shiba, who's always playing with her, making her feel confused and anxious. Her heart beats the loudest whenever she's around him. So if she has to choose a man to be with for the rest of her life, she'd pick Majima in a heartbeat. Like, ouch, game, we're in Shiba's route. You do this man so dirty. And yet the figure that always makes his way into her mind in the most spontaneous way is Shiba. How can the man's pride be so powerful that it controls her mind, even when he isn't physically there? The man's like a strong poison, and Majima's like a gentle salve. Hatsue is, well, he's neither. He's just a normal man. Her mind's most definitely starting to tip towards Shiba, and she doesn't want to admit that. I like it, though. We're a little under time, but I'm going to go a little bit longer because, you know, we had that, the beginning of this part, we should have been in the end of the last one, so we'll give you a treat. We'll go a little bit longer then. Several days have passed since her matchmaking interview with Katsue. Kyoko comes to visit again. Everything about her behavior tells Spacey that she's about to hear something important. After exchanging idle talk, her grandmother finally cuts to the chase and asks her about the elephant in the room.
By the way, what did you think about the matchmaking interview the other day?
I don't really... She finds it extremely difficult to put her refusal into words. Hatsue is truly a kind and fine young man. Instead of scowling in response to Spacey's look of anguish, Tokoko seems relieved.
I get it. You don't exactly like him, do you?
No. Sorry, grandmother.
No, it's all right. If I'm honest with you. They sent their reply to me, and they said they'd like to withdraw from all this marriage talk.
What?
You're like, excuse me? He's rejecting me? No, I'm just kidding. She's like, I'm relieved, but also slightly offended. Spacey can't hide her surprise. Based on her observation that night, Katsue didn't seem to hate Spacey. Michio is even eager about their marriage. I think I would feel like it's more like Michio being like, yeah, no, as opposed to Katsue kind of backing out. I feel like he's a little too meek to make the decision. Of course, being rejected is rather convenient for her, but she can't comprehend why they would turn her down. Little into yourself, aren't you, girl? Have I offended them in any way?
No, I highly doubt that. I think they're worried about something, but they wouldn't tell me what it is.
Is it the debts that are bothering them?
I don't think so. And they were aware of it even before the marriage interview, and they even told me they'd take care of this family's debts if you two did get married.
Did they now? But then why? Shiba, girl. All of a sudden, Shiba's intrusion flashes through Spacey's mind. Perhaps the Ida family decided to back down to protect their own interests in relation to Shiba. That sounds like the most plausible explanation. I mean, that's true. If they have business dealings with Shiba, they're like, if he proposed to her and they were courting, and then you marry her, that's not going to be good for my business because Shiba might hold it against us, instead of being like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, she rejected me. I can't be mad that she chose you. You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, he might hold it against us. So they're protecting their business, which makes sense. Still, I'm honestly glad they rejected me. Really didn't want to have to refuse such a nice man.
I agree. Well, you and that man are both young, so I'm sure you two will receive more offers in the future.
Her grandmother says, trying to console her. After assuring her that she'll be back with more good news and finishing her tea, her grandmother leaves. I think it's probably better, because Katsue probably needs to find a girl that's like, if he basic looking, he needs to find a little more basic girl, you know? Who's then going to be like, oh, he's so handsome, and he's going to think she's beautiful, and it's like, oh, look at their cute little basicness. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be like the average guy who was a beautiful wife, because then people are like, what? And you know what I mean? You need someone on your level. Sorry, Katsue. And honestly, even if you're basic looking, Katsue, she said you were very nice, but she just wasn't into you. You want someone who's like, oh my god, he's so handsome and he's so wonderful. That's what you want someone to feel like about you. Not, I mean, he's fine. I mean, basic and whatever, I guess. It's okay. You don't want someone feeling like that about you. Awful. You deserve better. Strange, odd guy we never got to really meet, but you know what I mean? He seemed fine, so. Sitting alone in the parlor, Spacey looks at the garden beyond the window. Like, you know, Michio's wife is probably like, this fucking bastard. Like, if they had said they'd love to continue the marriage talk with me, I would have had to decline. This is all because of that cruel man. She agreed to attend the formal marriage interview because of her hatred towards Shiba, so the other family's rejection has actually helped lessen Spacey's guilt. She berates herself, wondering pointlessly what on earth she's doing. She can't just say she likes Shiba. It's more complicated than that. But it's also true she can't get the man out of her mind. I wonder what's the name of this emotion? Love? Lust? She thinks about it, but the answer never comes up. What she is sure of now is that as long as she hasn't found a way to get rid of Shiba from her mind, she won't be able to readily agree to another marriage interview and what's waiting beyond that. Oh, we're going to stop now, but it happened several days after Tokuko's visit. Shiba comes busting in. Grandma dies. What's going to go on? Who knows? Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.